I'm about to cut the hole for my max fan air vent here, and I've already made one little cut. And as you can see it right here, and this right here will go in here like that eventually. But what I'm doing is I'm taking my oscillating saw here and cutting it along my frame that I've made. That way I get a nice clean flush cut. So I'm about to do the rest of that and I'll show you when it's done. So I just got this hole cut, and here it is on the inside. You notice I got a little bit of where that didn't stick to the frame, so I'm just going to put a little glue on that, throw a clamp on it, make that look a little bit better, and then I'll move on here. Alright, so I moved on to cutting the insulation for my roof there, and I found the easiest way to do this is with a jigsaw, so I'll show you that real quick. Alright, so for each one of these that I cut, I got to cut two of them, because when I go to put this in the roof up there, it's going to be doubled up. It's going to be too thick. So I will cut out an exact copy of this one and then move on to my next area of my spars. I have all this insulation cut. That's going to go in between my spars. And what I'm about to do next is cut out where this wire is going to go. So what I've done here is I've marked it, and now I'm going to cut that out so my wires can run in this channel here. And I'm going to do that by putting this dado bit. I've set it for a 1/2 inch deep. This is 3/4 inch foam insulation. So I'm going to cut out this area through in here. That way my wires can run in there. And I'll do that and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So what I decided to do real quick here was take my wires up so I could put the first part of my roof on, just to temporarily put it up. Then I'm going to put my tongue box on here and drill my hole through my tongue box and the part of my roof to where my wires are actually going to stick through. So I got my first layer of insulation down. Then I went ahead and ran my wires through my channels on both sides. I didn't take much video of that just because it's just pulling wires through holes and that's no big deal. But what I will show you is I have two of these red ones, two positives and one negative, and these are 10 gauge wires. And what I've done on the interior in here is I put a bus bar here in the back, and this is my positive that feeds the bus bar, and this is that negative wire. And then what I've done here is I've tapped off another 10 gauge wire that runs over here to my 12 volt USB and socket. And then I have another one that I'll run back to my galley back there. And I also have additional circuits here that I can put in if in the future I ever want to add any LED lights or anything like that. This will be put on a 30 amp fuse on my PD4045, so that should handle pretty much anything I'm going to put back here, I would think. And then I put my Bluetooth controller. This is going to control the galley lights. And then I got my fan that I put in here, my max air fan. And let me get over here and I'll show you what else I did. The other thing that I did is I had this battery, and I hooked it up to all of my switches, my light switches, and all of my USB and 12 volt plugs, and my porch light out here. And so that way I could check all the wiring that I've ran. That way I can put my second layer of insulation on that I can put my roof on. And then I can put my tongue box here and wire up my PD4045. And the reason why I checked all those wires in there, because once I seal it up, I won't be able to get to it. And that way, if there's any problem, it'll be external in the tongue box. If I have any issues with something not working, I already know all of that wiring is good in the trailer itself. So I'm about to start with this second layer of insulation. Right now I'm working on the gussets that go around my sunroof, like that. And how I'm doing this is, all I did on my window was trace this out around here, and now I'm taking my jigsaw and just I traced that out, and then I'm just cutting around that. I've gotten the second layer of insulation on, and I have sanded it down so it is flush with the spars, and for the most part the top of this is ready to put the roof on. But I have a couple more pieces to do around here on the front, but after that it should be ready. I've got most of the roof put on, and I'll show you what I got going on up here in the front. I had a buddy helping me, and we decided that the fittings that I had for my electrical coming through my tongue box wasn't going to work, so I had to go to the store and get some new ones. So we did as much as we could and left this piece right here where the wires are going to come through the tongue box, and that's what I'm working on now. And you can see here's my second layer of insulation, and that goes, I put a second layer all the way around and I sanded it down. You can see it's sanded down flush with the spars. And this is what it would look like without the second layer. So right now I have to match up where my holes come through here into my teardrop, so I can run all the wires across here and then into the tongue box. So that's what I'm doing right now, and when I move along a little bit further I'll show you where I'm at there. Here's what the roof and the roof line looks like. I've got all of it flush cut, and I got one little area here that I couldn't quite get down, where I had a little bit of a miscut, but I'm just going to take some fast spackling compound and put in there. But next is to take my 1/2 inch round over and round this over. Okay, I just got done doing this 1/2 inch round over, and this is what it looks like. On my roof here, where my seams meet, I have a little bit of a gap right there, and all I'm doing is just taking some lightweight spackling and filling up that joint. And then when I go to put my fiberglass and my epoxy on there, that'll be nice and level, and that should be able to notice that one, especially once I go to put my bed liner spray on there. And here's what that looks like after I got that. I haven't done any sanding on it, but that's just what it looks like now. I've gotten the exterior fiberglass and sanded down. I also sanded down the doors and the storage door, and I will need to put epoxy on that like I have back here in the galley to waterproof it, and that also keeps the plywood from splitting and swelling. And then after that, all I need to do is tape everything off, and I'm ready to bed liner spray it.